What's up, this is Sonic Soul here, and I just wanted to talk about the changes to Nash for Street Fighter V Arcade Edition Season 3.5. Alright, so the first set of changes for Nash are to his forward throw and back throw. So his forward throw now does 140 damage and 150 stun, and his back throw now does 150 damage. So this kind of change is more or less a general change overall. Most characters had gotten their throws adjusted to kind of do more damage or stun. So now that his throw has been increased by 30 stun, this means that it's going to be one less throw to stun, and the opponent's now going to have to think, hey, maybe I should tech the throw this time, otherwise I'm probably going to get stunned. They're going to have to think about the throw or the bait on their throw tech. So this next change is to Nash's standing medium kick, and his standing medium kick was changed so that it will not hit opponents who are behind him, but only for the base hitbox. So a reason as to why they made this change to Nash's standing medium kick could be from the overall changes that we see in the patch notes regarding characters like these whose anti-airs were able to hit behind their head. So when Arcade Edition dropped, there was a patch for it obviously, and in that patch certain characters had their anti-airs adjusted to where it would be able to hit behind their head. For example, Laura's standing medium punch. Now in these new patch notes that we're going over, Laura's standing medium punch no longer hits behind her. These changes can be seen for multiple characters, not just Laura, and Nash is obviously one of these characters as well. This is probably to allow for cross-ups to land more frequently, just so that way like these anti-airs didn't stuff the idea of being able to do a cross-up in general. But for Nash's standing medium kick, I never really seen it stuff a cross-up for the most part or used in that way. And since they said only for the base hitbox, this kind of removes a mix-up that you could do with EX Tragedy Assault and Vtrigger in the right corner. So with Vtrigger 1, you could do EX Tragedy Assault, the grounded version of Vtrigger, and then you could juggle and cause an air reset to the opponent with standing medium kick. And the reason this worked is because when Nash reappeared, his back was turned facing the opponent. So he could do standing medium kick and it would hit behind him. So this is kind of removed now, but nobody really used this. For the most part, I don't really see why they decided to change it for this way, but I guess the reason I just explained could be why. So the next change is to Nash's target combos, or his Raptor combination and bullet combination. So Raptor combination is performed with medium kick, heavy kick, medium kick, and bullet combination is performed with medium kick, heavy kick, medium punch plus medium kick. Now they increase the forward movement distance of the second hit. So this is really a consistency change just for his V.C.O target combo really, because at further ranges away from the opponent when you did his target combo, the V.C.O would whiff. So now it's going to make it so that way most ranges that you're at next to the opponent, the V.C.O will hit. However, at max range, V.C.O still whiffs for the target combo, which sucks. So the forward movement doesn't aid at all when trying to space out the next move I'm going to talk about. So this next change is one of Nash's two buffs, this one being V.Skill or Bullet Clear, and basically they increased the advantage on hit from +2 to +5, and they increased the V-Gauge meter gain from 80 to 100. So this is actually a really good change to Nash's V.Skill for a multitude of reasons. The first reason is obviously it's +5 on hit now, meaning that you can link back medium kick up close. You can't get a grounded like hit confirm into the V.Skill link, so you're gonna have to jump into it. But despite that, you'll still have the option to choose whether or not you want to go for a combo with V.Skill to build V meter to have Vtrigger, or if you want to do that damaging combo. Since it's +5 on hit, it's also +7 on counter hit. This means you can use it as a poke, and you can link stuff like standing medium punch, standing medium kick, or forward light kick. Obviously, if the standing medium kick hits, you could go into the V.Skill target combo. And standing medium punch, you can get a confirm. But the problem is that this won't work at max range, obviously. If you're using this as a poke, max range will not give you standing medium kick or standing medium punch. They'll both whiff. And at closer ranges for the bullet combination, if you try to do it, it'll actually whiff the third hit if you are at the max range for the target combo. So again, with the aforementioned buff that I talked about before with bullet combination, it still doesn't really work in terms of making that V.Skill hit. However, you can still do forward light kick even if the V.Skill hits at max range on counter hit, which means you're in the opponent's face, and that's not so bad. So overall, this change to V-Skill is a really good buff for Nash because now it makes the V-Skill more viable in matchups where the opponent either doesn't have a projectile, they have a multi-hitting projectile, or in Dhalsim and Fong's case, for instance, their projectiles are just plain weird. So the next change for Nash is his Moonsault Slash, particularly the recovery on the first active frame. It was switched on hit and block to be the same value as the second active frame. This is really good against more or less Abigail. This is a consistency change because sometimes the Moonsault Slash would hit and you wouldn't be at +4, you'd be like at +2 or +3. So then the jab would sometimes not connect at all for your Moonsault Slash. So an interesting conundrum about this Moonsault Slash change is that apparently on Cammy, and no other character has this issue, but just Cammy, when you do Moonsault Slash on her while she's standing, you're +5 if you do it up close because for some reason the Moonsault Slash hits meaty on her and no other character. Now this means that up close, right, you can possibly get this meaty and link back medium kick, but you're not going to be able to do it from afar. So like if you do Moonsault Slash from further distances, it's still only going to be +4. Now when you do Moonsault Slash on a crouching opponent, it's going to hit on a later frame, so that's why it was +5 on those situations. But this is a very like weird scenario or interaction. It might have something to do again with Cammy's hurt box. Maybe it's short when she's standing. But this is just kind of those weird changes that I feel like Capcom might address in a later patch. So the next change is also another buff to Nash. It's his Sonic Move Hide, or his neutral Vtrigger 1, so when you press heavy punch and heavy kick by itself. They reduced the recovery of it by 2 frames, and it's now throw and projectile invincible from frames 1 through 3. So this change is really good for Nash, because since he's throw and projectile invincible for his Vtrigger 1 on the first 3 frames, this means that he'll be able to use it in situations where the opponent is in a block string and they're doing projectile or throw in the middle of it, right? So if they decide to go for either, you can use Vtrigger 1, the neutral version of it, to escape and not have to deal with that pressure. The other thing is that since it's 2 frames less recovery, if you cancel from crouching medium kick, you're now +9 on hit. On counter hit, you're +11, but basically you're plus enough to link whatever normal you want, and you can also link V-Skill. So you can actually do V-Skill back medium kick in the heavy kick site as well, and build V-meter after just using V-Trigger, and I think that's really good. Now the downside to this change with V-Trigger 1 is that now there's not really a use for V-Trigger 2 anymore. V-Trigger 2 was really good in the sense that it punished people for using projectiles. It was frame 1 projectile invuln for a lot of different things. But now that Vtrigger 1 is frame 1 projectile invuln for the neutral version, that means that you're going to be able to get a big punish and escape situations where the opponent is pressuring you with projectiles in the corner, for instance. Way easier than Vtrigger 2. So for the most part, I don't know what use is left for Vtrigger 2. And then the worst part is that they actually nerfed part of Vtrigger 2. So this last change is actually a nerf to Nash's Vtrigger 2, which is his Justice Corridor follow-up from Stealth Dash. So Stealth Dash, you perform it by pressing heavy punch and heavy kick, and then you press punch during the dash to do Justice Corridor, which is his overhead. Justice Corridor will no longer be able to cancel into Stealth Dash on whiff, and they changed the behavior where Nash overtakes the opponent's character. So this is bad for Vtrigger 2 both defensively and offensively, because on defense you can't use Corridor to escape the corner anymore. What you would do prior patch is you would do Justice Corridor, you'd steer it over the opponent's head if you were cornered, you would land behind them, and then you would use Stealth Dash. You'd cancel the whiff animation into the dash and go full screen. But this was 2 uses, and if you had already used your first use, this means that you've completely lost your Vtrigger 2 for the rest of the round. And now that you don't have that ability to escape, the only other way is by doing crouching medium kick into the kick follow-up of the dash, which is Justice Shell. But that only works on first activation as a combo. If you try to do it otherwise, the Justice Shell will be blocked and you can get punished. I can understand why they did this for Justice Corridor, however, because of the next change. They didn't want you having the left rights with the overhead for it, on offense, and this is gonna hit the Vtrigger 2's offensive capability a bit, because now the left-right mix-up that you had with the overhead allowed Nash to auto-correct his overhead to always hit in front on the left side, and you could also steer it so that way it could be used as a left-right. Now you don't get that anymore. If you try to have Nash's Justice Corridor auto-correct, he'll end up with his back facing the opponent, turned around, and the opponent will actually be able to punish you because you can't cancel the whiff animation into a stealth dash. So ultimately, it's just a nerf overall for Vtrigger 2, and it just shows you again how inconsistent it is and why most people are probably going to continue to use Vtrigger 1, especially with the changes to Sonic Move Hide. So that's going to wrap it up for all of Nash's changes in Season 3.5. Personally, I think Nash got slightly buffed, but there are still inconsistencies. So his V-skill is always going to be -5, even if you melee it right now, which means that the opponent is going to be able to punish you for doing it up close. The only way you can get it is off of a jump in, which means you're sacrificing damage, or off of a poke. And the poke, you're only going to get forward light kick if it counter hits at max range, and you're going to be -1 at that point. So that sucks. The medium kick, heavy kick target combo isn't consistent at max range, meaning that you can't get your V-skill, the last part of it, to hit. I do, however, think that the best buff from this patch is with that Vtrigger 1. However, with Vtrigger 2 and its nerfs, along with the buffs to Vtrigger 1, I just don't see any real reason to use Vtrigger 2 at this point in the game. And it's as Bonchan said, you know, even if that Vtrigger becomes 2 bars, there's just no reason he'll ever use it. And I agree with him. There's no reason to use it at this point. So that's going to do it. I'm done. Thank you guys for watching. I'm glad that Vesper took the time out to have me on his channel. I had also uploaded this video onto Vesper's channel as well, so if you want to check out some videos like this and maybe some fighting game news and whatnot, go check out Vesper Arcade's channel. And of course, you guys already know, definitely subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the bell notification so when I upload my next video, you know that it'll come out. And also definitely follow me on Twitter and on my Twitch as well. I stream a lot on there, so you'll know when my next video is coming, usually from what I say on the live stream before anything else. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Take care, guys. Hope this helped you. See ya.